Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and it's Sunday night, so we're going to recap the Week 5 games. Almost everything's completed. Dallas, Houston are in the fourth right now, but we're going to go over some of the top performances for the week, some bad performances for the week. Just go through some of those. Maybe players disappointed you, but we'll just start it off. Let's go position by position. How about that? And start with quarterback. And I'll just say, actually, if you look at the quarterback list right now, if you pull up the scoring leaders, it looks kind of like it should. It's a pretty normal week. Aaron Rodgers, number one, Brady, Luck, Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson. That's your top five. I think for the first time this year, it feels like everything's normal.
Yeah, finally got off that crazy streak where people were scoring 50 points every week.
Right. It looked like, the top score, 34.7 for Rodgers. Nothing crazy.
Nope. And once again, you never really know. You have to wait until the whole game finishes out because Aaron Rodgers did not look good for that first half, and then he pulls it out because he's Aaron Rodgers.
The team still loses, but...
Yeah.
Which, still, okay, being a Lions fan, what the heck? They can beat the Patriots and they can beat the Packers, but that's it.
Yeah, I would take what I can get at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't get that, but... And so those guys, all those top, I say, they're pretty much like we expected. It was nice to see Russell Wilson actually play well again. I didn't see it coming this week. They still lost to the Rams, but barely. I did not think they would be able to stay with them. And...
No, yeah, and he finally got back into the rhythm, throwing the ball. He had 3 touchdowns, which is great, but he didn't even quite hit 200 yards passing. So once again, really glad to see that he did well. But I think that is going to be a struggle, game in and game out, because right now they're just not even getting the yards where 3 touchdowns is, it really going to happen a lot.
Yeah, none of the other guys at the top are surprised. They're what we expect. But in case Keenum jumps into the top 10, but that's just kind of they were down all game and they had to throw the ball around at the end. Wouldn't really expect much from him, going forward. I mean, the Broncos lost to the Jets by a lot. That's just ugly game for them. Wentz looked solid. But, okay, Blake Bortles has been pretty good again. This is what Jacksonville, they have to do it sometimes. This time they're behind, but he's had 3 games now over 20 points. One was never know when to play this guy, though.
No, and you can see, obviously they were losing, so the guy turned the ball over 5 times.
He's just crazy like that, and he still scored 22 points. I don't get it.
I know. 430 yards passing is crazy.
Good. He's not good. But
yeah, it's much better when they have Fournette in there and they can pound the ball out and he can kind of just spell them when needed. Yeah, he's a difficult one to predict. That's why I never feel comfortable actually starting him. Every once in a while, you can stream him if you get in a bad place, but he just shows you why you have no idea. I don't know anyone that can really predict him.
He's going to end the year top 10. I just have that. He's going to be the 10th ranked player at the end of the year.
I wouldn't doubt it. And it's not like he's had years when he's been up there, and but that's it. He's too it's too crazy from game to game to ever really be able to play the guy.
Well, there was some, I guess I can call them disappointing games. I mean, there weren't like terrible games for the quarterbacks themselves, but fantasy wise, were Goff, Cousins, Mahomes, all getting around 16 points, nothing special. Mahomes threw 2 picks, no touchdowns. I mean, he ran for 1 at least. He looks good. His team won, but fantasy output wasn't there.
Yeah, but how much of that, he was going against Jacksonville. So how much of that would you just kind of throw into that, saying, hey, that was a tough game anyway? The fact that he got 15 points out of it.
Yeah, I think.
Is that a win?
I think so. For going against Jacksonville, we expected him to be a little bit lower this week. But that's fine. I think if that's the worst he's going to get, and he still looked pretty decent, he's going to, he's obviously a must start the whole year. And really nobody else stood out too much. Baker Mayfield's interesting. He's actually been, fairly usable these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's starting to come around. I think people kind of thought that he was going to come in and automatically throw 3 touchdowns a game, which didn't turn out. But, from what I've seen so far, he is consistently getting better. He only had 1 touchdown, but Baltimore, we found out from them that their defense is pretty legit. And the fact that he threw for 340 yards and a touchdown, and I feel very happy about that.
And then I'll say Marcus Mariota. Last week he showed, oh, wow, maybe this is the guy we thought he was going to be last year. Nope, he's not. He's not. 4.2 points.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's actually really funny to look at it. And, you take out week 2. But say he's played 4 games. One of them, he scored over 10 points.
Yeah. Just not a trustable player. Shouldn't be on your radar. He's going to have to put together multiple weeks together to be even something you'd consider, I think.
Yeah. And how about the other one? The one that also kind of surprised me was Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
he has been absolutely on fire.
I thought he was going to do much better than that. But shoot, what is it? Is Atlanta 1-4 now in the year? I mean,
could be their defense can't stop anyone. So
no, they're just not good. And I expected a big time shootout, and Ryan would be great, and this didn't happen. He still, he didn't kill your team, but you expected 36, not 16.
Yeah, exactly. And I had Roethlisberger and Matt Ryan ranked very high because I thought it was going to be a shootout. Roethlisberger delivered; he was in the top 5, and Matt Ryan just couldn't get it going. The entire team. The fact that they only scored 17 in this game, I don't know if Pittsburgh's D is kind of just starting to figure themselves out, or if there was just a down game, but it didn't look like the offense they had going the last 3 weeks for sure.
Nope. How about move over to the running backs? In so far, top scoring running back in standard scoring this week is James Conner with 30.5. Who knows? Kamara might pass him up tomorrow, but it had to feel pretty good, Jeff, for you being a person who just traded for James Conner.
Yeah, that was it was an added bonus.
Not bad at all. Connor he looked good. It was a good matchup, though. We knew it was going to be a good week.
Yeah, exactly. It's very true.
And then you got Gurley, number 2. No surprise. It doesn't even yards per carry is not great, but you know what? It doesn't matter. He gets all the touchdowns. Oh
yeah, he looks phenomenal out there. Gurley, you can't say anything bad about the guy.
No, and he's awesome around the goal line. He just gets in the end zone every time. There's just no doubt with him. But the third place guy in standard scoring this week is Isaiah Crowell. Come on. What is this? 15 carries, 219 yards in a touchdown?
Yeah, no. He had that was a 70-yard scamper where he scored that touchdown. He looked good today, but this guy is so up and down. You just look at his numbers and it tells the entire tale of the season so far. We're through 5 weeks and you go from 22 points to 4 to 17 to 0.3 to 29. So use him at your own risk. But, when he's hot, he's hot.
He's worth a flex start, but I don't trust him.
Oh, no. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, but he definitely is a more intriguing option than, a lot of other running backs out there.
It's true. He's going to be, after this week now, he's a top 10 back on the year in scoring so far.
Yes.
And those 3 of 5 weeks, he's been a huge benefit to your team. You probably have 3 wins because this guy's your flex at best, most likely. You've gotten huge weeks from your flex player, 3 weeks out of 5.
Oh yeah, those are great numbers. You know what? I would take that honestly. All right, 2 weeks, yeah, he's not going to do anything for you, but 3 weeks getting almost 20 points or more.
I don't want to recommend it, but it's an interesting thing to watch.
Oh no, me either. And I'm hoping that that is a flex guy and not a starting running back. But either way, if he keeps this up, it's boom or bust. But it'll keep you in the game.
But he plays Indianapolis next week. It's probably a good matchup for him. So, I'll see. And then next we got Saquon Barkley, another great outing. It's not even on the ground. He just gets receiving touchdowns too. One of them from Odell, which was nice to see. As I'm an Odell Barkley owner.
That's got to be the best, the funnest way for you to score 12 points or whatever it was. Awesome.
Well, he came down awkwardly after that second touchdown, which he just soared through the air, which was he's just a ridiculous player. That guy's good. And it didn't look very good, but everything seems to be fine. But we'll just wait and see tomorrow. You never know. I don't even know what the possible injury was. I heard at one point it looked like knee, ankle. Then I heard later on it could have been his back that actually was tweaked after that. So
just jammed everything into the ground.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens when the news comes out in the next day or two here. Then, some of the other guys, David Johnson, he's up there because he got in the end zone. Yardage-wise wasn't doing much, but he's still good play. TJ Yeldon, he's a pretty good fill-in for Fournette, who might be out another week.
Yeah, he's been really producing. It's one of those things where he doesn't look anything spectacular by any means, and he hasn't even. I mean, especially today, it's a very good example. But I mean, he got 18 touches, but 10 of them, rushing, and then 8 catches. And it's just kind of like, he doesn't ever wow me. And then I look up at his stats, and I'm like, oh wow, you averaged over 5 yards a carry, and you caught an unbelievable catch in the back of the end zone, and they just continue to use him.
He's actually a top 10. He's going to be a top 10 back for the year now. That's crazy as well. TJ Yeldon and Isaiah Crowell in the top 10 after 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Would not have expected that, but.
No, not at all.
Melvin Gordon had another solid week. He just puts together, again, he's one of those. We're looking at all these guys and their numbers, and it's not like they're putting together great rushing numbers, but they don't need to. They just get it done other ways. And Gordon's one of those guys. Joe Mixon looked pretty good in his first game back.
Oh, yeah. Every Mixon owner has to just feel elated. The fact that he didn't look like he was hurt at all. Like, he looks healed. He looks good. They gave him 22 carries, so they feel confident with him.
Yep.
It's really paying dividends. We liked him before. I like him even more now.
I do too. Kenyon Drake actually put together his first decent outing.
Finally. So everyone that drafted Drake as a, top 15, top 20 running back, finally you got, the second game really, that you feel like he's worth that value.
But I almost guarantee you had a lot of people not starting him this week.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people did miss out on him because he hasn't looked very good. I mean, to be quite honest, and they haven't really been using him as much as you would like to see either.
Look, I pulled up the numbers here. He was actually only started in 28% of leagues this week. Yep. So you missed it. That's how it goes when there's a player struggling. I'd rather miss the first good week than just continue to play him when he's doing nothing. So, and some other guys that I think are going to be up here all year. Kareem Hunt, Christian McCaffrey. Really no surprises. McCaffrey, again, like all these other guys, just puts together good numbers. With yardage isn't great on the run game, but he just puts together games. He's going to probably do that all year. Then look, Garrett Blount, who got his 2 touchdowns, and gets up here, but no, you're not trusting him ever.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Wendell Smallwood got a touchdown, so he looks pretty decent just scoring-wise. He wasn't involved a lot, but either was J.J. So Philadelphia just wasn't involving their backs today. And, yeah, J.J. is going to be on my disappointment list, that's for sure.
We'll see. I mean, he does have a fractured back, so you got to give the guy a little bit of leeway.
I guess.
What about another guy that I know that we weren't too high on? We had to see what this backfield was going to do, but Mike Davis, once again, showing
him
that
and
he's,
Carson.
Scored at in standard 13.5 points. So only 12 carries this time compared to last week where he had 21, but 68 yards and a touchdown. I mean, is this someone that you're starting to get behind as maybe a flex option, or what do you think with him?
It's weird because I feel like you can't have 2 Seattle running backs be options here with Carson and Davis. I don't know how they're going to use it, but they've been that now. Davis 2 weeks in a row, and Carson, for the most part, his last 2 games, he's been an option. So maybe they are. I gotta see one more week of them playing together and see how it works between Carson and Davis before I can trust Davis for sure. Because Carson looks like he's going to be the lead guy. But
yeah, I agree with that. I kind of worry that Carson will take back over the bulk of it, and I think Carson looks better when he's running too. He didn't get the touchdown, but over 100 yards on 19 carries, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's an interesting backfield. And then Penny's not involved at all anymore. So,
yeah, go figure.
Who would have thought that? Austin Eckler continues to be an option again. He just is.
Yeah.
Every week.
Doesn't need a lot of touches, just makes things happen. And finally, it wasn't a huge game for him, but they finally decided to use LaShawn McCoy. 24 carries. How do you feel about him finally getting back into it?
I don't trust him. The player's
Buffalo
good.
Buffalo is so bad.
If he gets this kind of volume, sure, but this is a game, okay. It was a low-scoring game that they were in, so they could run the ball. They're not going to be able to do it every week. They get down, and McCoy's just going to be out of it all of a sudden. It's going to happen real quick. But if you have McCoy, it's hard to put him on the bench, isn't it?
No, because I've been doing it.
See, but a lot of teams don't have that freedom.
That's true. That is very true. I mean, it would be difficult to completely take him out of the rotation, but he's definitely more of a streaming option than a play every week. I mean, I right now, and it's definitely not McCoy's fault, but I just have a hard time believing you don't have another option you would rather go with.
You know what? Alex Collins isn't very good. I'll say that.
I feel like you just enjoyed keep going at this guy.
He just isn't. I hope you guys didn't draft him. I told you all preseason. This is what he was going to do. He wasn't very good. He's average at best. And now on the year, 5.9 points, then 9, then 13.4. Oh, he went crazy. Scored a touchdown. Then 8.5, 6.6. He's a bench player. That's what he is. So
yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, I think if they would use him more, he would be fine, because if you look at his yards per average, it wasn't bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
No, it's not at all. But they decided not to use him around the goal line, and it just gutted his value. Absolutely.
Okay, and when are the Packers going to realize that Aaron Jones is their best running back?
I don't know yet, but I mean, to be fair on this one, I didn't think that they were expecting to be down so quickly to Detroit. So I think that the run game just got taken out of it, because he only had 7 carries, and
I think he was still third in snaps on the team, though. He's better than Williams and Montgomery. He just is. Every time he plays, he just looks better than them.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
And I think that's going to change at some point, but it's just not happening yet. It has to. I feel like it has to. So I don't know. Devontae Freeman came back and only scored 4.1 if you played him right away. So
yeah, they kind of slowly put him back in. I mean, he only had 8 carries. I wasn't expecting anything too big out of him. I mean, I'd have to look it up real quick. But I mean, Ito Smith had 3, and then Coleman had whatever he had. So I mean, they were just working him back into the rotation. They definitely didn't give him the bulk of the work. Coleman had 7, so they pretty much split, and then whatever it may be.
If you're a Royce Freeman owner too, only 5 carries. I don't. That's not happening with him. I mean, Philip Lindsay's is definitely being used more. Philip Lindsay had 12 carries, 3 catches, and then Freeman had only the 5 carries and 3 catches.
Yeah, I think they like the fact that when they have Lindsay in there, they can do a little more, right? Because if you have Royce in there, they know they're going to kind of hand it off, do whatever. But I think they like Lindsay's versatility and the fact that he just tends to, be that spark. But yeah, they keep going his way. I really thought it was going to be like a 50-50 kind of touch deal, especially when Royce got it even last week. He was running really hard. He was making things happen when he had the ball. So I'm surprised by this, honestly.
And then the running back side here, there's not a lot of huge dud games. There really wasn't. I mean, there's some disappointing games like Marshawn Lynch with 4.1, but I mean, I think you come to expect that sometimes with Lynch. You're going to get those games from him. Well, he's been better than that, but it's still going to happen every once in a while. I guess the only other one right now is Zeke, only with 6.9, as this game looks like it's going to go to overtime. So he might just get a touchdown in overtime and make it a much better outing. Might change it.
Yep, and I mean, it's kind of only a matter of time. I mean, I would still play him no matter what. Elliott is an amazing, amazing player. But, when you don't have a passing game and, obviously you have Clowney and Watt on that line, if he doesn't get in the end zone, it could be a long day. So, But they try to throw it to him. 6 catches so far for only 20 yards. But, it's not like a lack of chances. I mean, 17 rushing opportunities. He got 50 yards out of it. It's just one of those games that unless he gets into the end zone late, it's going to be a disappointing week for whoever owns him.
How about move over to the wide receivers here? And I think all is right with the world now. Odell Beckham, number 1.
Finally. And Antonio Brown, number 3. So,
and actually, even number 2 is good. A player that we expected these big play type stuff from, Robbie Anderson.
Oh, my God. I know. He showed flashes. But once again, even having a giant week, he only had 3 catches.
And on only 5 targets, so...
Yeah, so I won't expect this to change anything about how his season is going, but it's good to finally see Darnold connecting with him, and who knows, I mean, maybe it helps him along the way, but 3 catches, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, that's not sustainable.
It could be a start of at least him being more involved, so we'll see. But other than that, Odell, he threw a touchdown, which boosted his week, but other than that, it's still 8 for 131, a touchdown, 14 targets. Looked good. Antonio Brown, like you said. Devontae Adams is right up there. Adam Thielen's right up. Thielen's just been great.
Dude, he's unbelievable. I would love to have this guy. He has had over 100 yards every single game so far.
I think I heard at one point this is the first player ever to do that. 5 games.
Really?
5 games start a season with 100 yards or something like that. So
no kidding.
Just he's looking really, really good. So yeah, it says he's the first player in NFL history to go over 100 receiving yards in 5 straight games to start a season. So that is an impressive start to his year. Then Demaryius Thomas finally did something, but still only on 6 targets. I'm not going to trust Demaryius. He's going to do this every week. He's going to do either this or he's going to do the nothing thing. Who knows? So
yeah, he's a tough one to figure out currently. Denver, I mean, they're spreading the ball out. Sutton caught a touchdown today. They feel like they're trying to get everyone involved, but it's at the expense of Thomas, unfortunately.
Then we got Galladay, 4 for 98 and a touchdown. 9 targets, though. And he had another one that would have been a touchdown that was called back for penalty. He looks good.
I thought that was the beginning of the end for Detroit. It was
right.
Just one more game like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just what Galladay what we've come to expect from him. I mean, he looks like the real deal. And, you could see his receptions trending down, but I think that's because other teams realize that they have to, key on him now. And he is still such a huge deep threat that Stafford can throw, down the field to this guy and he's able to make those catches. So even only 4 catches, but 98 yards and a touchdown, like Craig said, this guy is absolutely every week play in my mind now.
So then Kupp and Woods, you got 2 Rams receivers up there near the top again. And that was even with Kupp getting knocked out with a concussion, as well as Brandon Cooks, who didn't register anything, getting knocked out early, which was a major disappointment. But what are you going to do about that? Nothing, But Kupp and Woods, both, again, solid games.
Yeah, it just continues to do it. That offense is great.
And Stephon Diggs, 10 for 91. He looks good. He's just not as good as Adam Thielen. So, but he's been great. Just not quite Adam Thielen level. How about the new? We were trying to all offseason figure out which Green Bay rookie receiver might make an impact. And I guess today there was 2 of them, but it seems like Marquez Valdez-Scantling, probably the longest name. I'm not going to ever write this thing down. That's ridiculously long.
Yeah, MVS.
Yeah, 10 targets, 7 catches, 68 yards, touchdown. I think he's that. If Cobb and Allison, whoever's out, he's the next guy up here, and this could even boost him up ahead of Cobb at some point. The way he's been playing, if he's able to, get some trust from Rodgers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's big to get one of these young guys going. Obviously they're going to have to pass it all year, it seems like, and obviously you have Aaron Rodgers, so why wouldn't you? But yeah, he looked good out there, and he didn't disappoint. So I'm not worried about another rookie kind of jumping up and taking that spot, because it sounds like he's going to get the first crack at it. It was a good job for the young guy to step in and kind of establish himself.
Some of the other big names all had solid outings, but without touchdowns. Like Keenan Allen, 8 for 90, AJ Green, 6 for 112. Solid games. Hopkins has 8 for 102 right now as they're heading to overtime. But maybe he'll do something else. But just, solid outings for all these guys. Well, even Sammy Watkins coming back from injury, 6 for 78. He's so much more useful this year than he was with the Rams last year.
Yeah, he's finally getting the yards where you don't have to worry about production, entirely. Where it's like, if he doesn't catch a touchdown last year, he was worthless. But now you're kind of like, okay, I'm still getting, decent value out of him.
So, are you a little worried here about Marvin Jones? He did get the touchdown today, but that was his only catch.
Yeah. Obviously, Galladay is definitely eating into his role. And I feel like this is kind of what Marvin Jones does, though. He is definitely a red zone type of guy, and he's not going to wow you with 10 catches by any means, but he finds the end zone a lot. And luckily for this game, because he only had that one catch for 8 yards, otherwise he would have been a complete bust. But yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie about it. I liked him, but like I said, Galladay is just looking like the better option.
I guess some other disappointments today, though, like Corey Davis follows up his big game with only 4 for 49, but Mariota was bad. It's hard to get going. Golden Tate followed up his big game with a 5 for 42. Alshon followed up his big game with a 2 for 39. Just a lot of up and down receivers. Calvin Ridley even. This is what happens when he doesn't get the touchdown. 4 for 38.
Yep. Yeah, what are you going to do?
So many up and down guys.
Exactly. And I think the one that kind of bummed me out the most was Alshon, because this is kind of how we felt about him last year. And I know there's a lot of injury, history with him and the Eagles. But after using him so heavily week one, or the first week he was back last week, I thought maybe that he kind of turned that around and he was going to be a lot more consistent. And this just kind of puts me back into the mind frame that some games he's going to be amazing and some games he's just going to disappear.
What about Will Fuller here? 2 for 15 as the game's in overtime now.
Yeah, I tell you the truth, I don't know what to think about that one. Because I know he's been on the he was questionable coming in and all that good stuff. But I think the bigger question for me is, Kiki Cutie, who right now is actually looking good once again. He has 6 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown going into overtime. Last week, he had the big breakout where he had 11 catches, 109 yards when Fuller left. This was just one game, so you don't know, but do you see Kiki cutting into Fuller's value? Or do you think this is just the fact that Fuller's a little banged up and Kiki is, absorbing those targets?
Honestly, I think he could take away a little bit unless Watson can support them all. He's a good player, so...
Yeah, I'm kind of getting behind him, and I'm not saying that I think it will maybe hurt Fuller from game to game, but I'm starting to think that QT just might be a very good wide receiver, and I think he might be a good option moving forward for kind of a streaming wide receiver.
I think he's getting closer. Well, I need to see a lot more yet, but
obviously, but especially in a PPR league, it does look like he is going to find a role that might be more volume driven anyway, which is, would be great for that.
Then in the least surprising stat line of the week, it was Amari Cooper's 1 for 10.
He's back.
Yeah, it's what he does every other week. And next week he'll have a big game. It's how it works with Cooper. So if you're if you sit him after every time he does terrible and you start him after every time he does great, you're never getting the good week anymore. It's just terrible disappointment. Then how about Doug Baldwin? 1 catch for 1 yard. Yeah,
not the game we were hoping for from him. I don't know what to take away from that. I'm not too worried because they've been doing it together for so long, but Wilson had 3 touchdowns. He had a decent game, so the fact that Baldwin wasn't incorporated into that, I'm not ready to freak out, but it definitely doesn't make me feel better about the situation.
And then I guess real quick about tight ends, not a lot here, but the top of the week is obviously the Ebron from Thursday, and then Eric Swoop is up there too. But other than the Indianapolis guys from Thursday night, Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce led the day in scoring for tight end, so no surprise. George Kittle's up there again. Like he's going to be up there every week.
Yeah, he looks like the real deal. He had that one catch where he just looked like he was out sprinting cornerbacks, and he's just kind of a unique hybrid of a tight end.
He's a good player. And then Austin Hooper is starting to do something here. He's had a couple decent games in the year. Last week wasn't great, but he's getting more and more involved. It's nice to see. Again, this Pittsburgh is not a very good pass defense, so see some more from him. But he's at least becoming more, involved with 12 targets. And Jimmy Graham, actually, it's nice to see a 6 for 76 with 11 targets and not just being like a red zone guy.
Yeah. And the guy that actually, and I know you'll enjoy this, obviously you have him on your team, but David Njoku finally looking like he's going to be worth something after the slow start, obviously with Tyrod. Baker comes in and all of a sudden he got 5 catches for 52. Today he got 6 for 69. He's starting to trend in the right direction, and with obviously he's a great athlete, so I'm kind of interested in him.
He's gone up every week now, 1.3 to 2 to 3.6 to 5.2 to 6.9. Just slowly moving on up. That's why I haven't dropped him, and I keep playing him because, look at this tight end position's not good at all. This right here, Njoku's the 10th best this week, and he didn't do a lot. And Virgil Green was the 9th best with 1 catch. Just because it was a 13-yard touchdown, that makes you the 9th best tight end for the week in standard scoring.
And just to kind of bring that back full circle, and someone that is way down the list, but once again, Jared Cook, some big games, but 4 catches for 20 yards, and there's very few tight ends that you can really rely on, and even Gronkowski this year, not someone you can really rely on. He only has 1 touchdown. He had 1 big game. Today wasn't bad, obviously, or this week, 75 yards, which is good. But it's just a very strange year. It's just faster, famine with these tight ends.
Feels like Kelsey's about the only real sure thing every week. Ertz is pretty close to it. And
yeah, I would say Ertz and Kelsey both, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, Kittle's becoming one of those guys now, so there's not a lot of them. That's for sure.
No, and unfortunately, I've been holding back all this time, but, Ebron is pretty much one of those guys now. I hate to say it, but between his touchdowns and the fact that they're starting to use him more and more, the last, 3 weeks he has almost 20 catches. He's just kind of wiggling his way into being a primary tight end, and especially when you're talking about the top 10, I feel like he's got to be in that conversation week in and week out now.
He is honestly one of the more talented guys.
I know. We begrudgingly say it, but
the Lions actually could use a good tight end. He'd be a good fit for them.
Oh yeah, maybe they can trade for him.
He's only 25 years old. That's it. Not a surprise if he's really starting to break out at this point. We always thought he could. It just, it's a disappointment. I don't want to talk about Eric Ebron. But all right.
Is there any tight end that you've been watching that you're kind of intrigued by? Because obviously you can almost start anyone if you don't have one of those top 5 guys. Anyone else that should be on the radar?
There's not a heck of a lot right now. I'm kind of interested to see what Nick Vannett does yet now that, Disley's not there and he's going to be the guy. 3 for 43 today. They have to throw to somebody. There's really not a lot else, though. There's not a guy down there. I still think Vance McDonald's going to be good. He didn't show that today. But
yeah, no, he did not.
That's for sure. Hayden Hurst. I'm interested in Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, I think that's a very good pick. I think he is a talented tight end. They obviously spent the first round pick on him, and we haven't been able to see him yet, but he looked good in preseason from what we got to, glimpses of it, and I think Flacco will be able to use him quite a bit.
Yep. So I might be looking to get him if I was a needy person that needs a tight end really badly. Try out Hayden Hurst. Take a chance. So I think that'll do it, though, for week 5 reaction. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll get some waiver wire players out there for you as you head into week 6. We'll talk to you guys later.